All right, hello, Hypercycle community. This is Raymond Mata. I am the lead tech support and also customer success. And today we're going to be diving into the V2 DApp, dap.hypc.ai. That's where you're managing your node factories. That's also where you're handling HTS and your chilling. And we're going to go through some of the steps involved in the management of your node factory and the assets underlying the node factory. Okay, now comes the fun part. It's the creation of a node factory. The easiest way to create a node factory in the DApp is through the node factory creation wizard. Now that again, you are at dap.hypc.ai. You are clicking on node factories here at the top, and then coming down to node factory creation wizard. So in this wallet, you might have more than one license. In my case, I only have one license in this wallet, and it is a level 11 license. If you had more, they would be here in the drop down. We're going to click next. So what the wizard is going to be doing is what we did in the previous step when we were showing you the function of converting HYPC into CHYPC. The wizard is actually going to go through that procedure for us. Remember, there is an approval function and then there's also an exchange function. We're going to go ahead and approve. We're changing the spending cap to approve the conversion of HYPC into CHYPC 2048, HYPC into CHYPC. Confirm, close extension. Okay, so you see after the approve HYPC function has taken place, the obtain CHYPC token step is illuminated. This is the actual conversion of HYPC into CHYPC. Go ahead and click on that. We're going to confirm, close extension. All right. CHYPC token has been obtained successfully. Click next. Approve license. Confirm. Close extension. So we're depositing our license. We're depositing our newly converted CHYPC into a contract that marries those two together into a node factory. So what the DApp is doing for us is handling the smart contract functions that are taking place on the Ethereum blockchain that handle the transfer of these assets into a contract that bonds them together into the node factory. All right, license has been approved. That's now in the manager contract, awaiting now the approval of the CHYPC deposit, approve CHYPC deposit. Okay, in some cases, let's say you're proceeding through the steps of the Node Factory Creation Wizard, and you click on Approve CHYPC, and it just sort of bounces back at you. It doesn't really take any action with your wallet. You don't get a pop-up confirming the transaction. If you are in that particular case, and that happens to you in your experience, the best thing to do in that case is to click Refresh of the page. Let the page refresh and go back to the very beginning of the Node Factory Creation Wizard. Those steps have actually already taken place. We're just refreshing the process to bring us back to that point so that the app can acknowledge that we're there and then restart the process if there's a glitch taking place in the Node Factory Creation Wizard. I'm going to click Next here. Approve license. That's already been done, so you're going to see that that is immediate. And then we're going to approve CHYPC. This is the step that was previously looping. I'm going to approve CHYPC. It's going to open up the wallet extension and tell us what we're doing. We're depositing CHYPC into the contract for the marriage. Click confirm. Close extension. Wait for that to settle on chain. Okay. The license has been deposited. The CHYPC has been deposited, and now we're ready to marry the two together. There's also a new step here called the Node Factory CEO address. Now, that's part of a new CEO manager mode feature that we'll be talking about in later guides. For now, in the creation of your Node Factory, you're just going to be clicking on marriage. And here are all the steps that we have taken previously. This is now where we are bonding the CHYPC that was previously deposited and the license previously deposited into a contract that creates the marriage that is the node factory. Click confirm. Notice that those are the highest fees for the entire process. Oh, it's still a good idea, even with Ethereum fees being so low, to watch that GUI. And all right, looks like we have created our node factory. Your license and CHYPC are now married. Click next. Congratulations, you have successfully married your node license and CHYPC. You may now proceed to the initial management steps for your share. You have the option to skip any of the remaining steps and perform them later if you wish. Okay, so after the node factory has been created, marriage is complete. You have an option as a new owner of your node factory. You can skip through this step. You don't have to do this. Your node factory will perform normally. It'll be under your ownership. You'll be able to set it up with HTS and chilling, and all of those functions will work just fine. You don't have to take any action on this page. Don't have to worry about that. If you would like to start to think about how you're sharing the ownership of your node factory, your new node factory provides you with two kinds of tokens. Ownership of S tokens representing voting shares of the node factory, and revenue or R tokens representing rights to withdraw node factory revenue. So the S tokens are all about your voting shares. So let's say you have a group of people who are in the ownership of the node factory with you, and you want to fractionate or distribute the voting power across a group of people. This is how you would do it. You would actually go into the S tokens here with the recipient address of the other owners and send them S tokens proportional to whatever fraction of the business you want them owning. And you're keeping in mind that when you're creating voting power, you have to have enough voting power to actually perform an action. Like, for example, to create a tiller for your node factory, you have to have enough voting power to do that. So if you are distributing your S tokens, you're distributing your voting power, which means everybody has to cast a vote that is in majority for that particular action, in this case, tilling, to be set up. Keep that in mind, okay? Now, with the R tokens is represent the right to withdraw node factory revenue. Keep in mind that the 30% of the R tokens are reserved inside the node factory contract as revocable R tokens to be used to distribute revenue to parties that should not permanently own the R tokens, such as hardware operators. In a future update, you will be able to configure the temporary ownership of these tokens in a voting process where the number of votes is determined by the S token ownership. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, so coming down, if we are skipping this step for now, you can either go back to the node factory management page or go straight into deploy with HTS. And since we've already done a deployment of HTS guide video for you, we're not going to be showing you HTS functions in this video. I'm just going to go straight to the node factory management page. This is the new node factory that was created in that node factory step that we took together. A few things to note here. This is the license ID of the node factory. This is what you would use, for example, if you were looking to see what the status of tilling was in the Explorer. So would you get this from? Here are your S and R token ownerships. And under here, settings, is where you would go to create your tiller. Okay? Keep that in mind. If I go back to my node factory page, you see now my new node factory 5428 has been created in this wallet. Node factory number and the license number is here.